So how can you protect your child's inheritance? One really powerful tool is using a Dynasty Trust. In this video, I'm going to explain all about Dynasty Trusts and how they can be used to help your family. Hi, this is Ellen Cookman. Welcome to my channel. In this channel, we're going to talk about how to help special needs families set up estate plans. Estate planning for special needs families is complex, and our goal is to make it as easy for you as possible. If this information is helpful to you, please subscribe and also hit the notification button so you'll be notified every time a new video comes out. My law firm has helped hundreds of families navigate the complex waters of setting up estate plans. So I'm excited to share all of my knowledge and experience with you. So Dynasty Trusts are really interesting trusts. They were actually created for the rich and famous, but I think they can be used for just about anyone. They were originally created to protect against generation skipping transfer tax. So what that means is, people figured out, okay, at every generation, I'm going to be subject to estate tax, and I don't like that. So what if I skip over a generation? Grandma gives to grandchild and skips mom. Well, that sounds like a good deal, right? But then the IRS figured out what was going on, and they said, oh, no, we don't want people to skip a generation in taxes. And so they imposed this new tax called a GST tax, or generation skipping transfer tax. So the Dynasty Trust is meant to provide GST tax protections. The idea of it is that money goes into the Dynasty Trust, and then upon the beneficiary's death, it doesn't count as the beneficiary's own money. So it goes to the kids free of estate taxes. It's really cool. Now, what about for those of us who don't have a taxable estate? Right now it's 2022 and the estate tax exemption is $12.06 million. So that means unless you have over that amount, you're not subject to estate taxes. So you might say, Ellen, I don't need a Dynasty Trust. Why are you even talking to me about this? But there's two other amazing protections about Dynasty Trust that I want to talk to that I think will catch your attention. So the first amazing protection is that it protects your children in case they ever endure a divorce. So let me explain this to you. All right, so remember when I said all the money that goes into the Dynasty Trust is not considered your child's money? It's basically an asset protection trust. The trust is drafted to say that the money is to be used for just about everything that the child needs, but it's outside the child's estate, and it's segregated as their separate property. So if your child ever gets married and then endures a divorce, anything held in the Dynasty Trust stays with your child and does not go off to that horrible ex-spouse. However, the money in the Dynasty Trust can really be used for anything that your child wants. It can be used to buy a house that the whole family enjoys. It's just that the Dynasty Trust will buy the house that the family enjoys. But if the couple gets divorced, and there's a high divorce rate in the US for sure, if they get divorced, then your child gets the entire house back. It doesn't go to that horrible ex-spouse. So this is a very interesting and compelling protection that many of my clients really like, the ability to protect their child. The other really important protection that a Dynasty Trust provides is creditors protection. So let's say that your child has some money in a Dynasty Trust and then somebody sues them. Well, as long as they're not acting as trustee, they can say, hey, that's not my money. That's this money in the trust. And then that money is not subject to the creditor's claim. So particularly depending on what your child might do, if they're in a high lawsuit, if they're in a litigious career or profession, or even if they're just involved in somebody hits their car and blames it on your child, then that money is still protected. So these are really great asset protection devices. Now in California, it's very difficult to set up an asset protection trust for yourself, but you can set one up for your child, your grandchild, other people, and so that's what we're talking about today. So have you ever heard of a Dynasty Trust? I'm curious about this. Please comment below, yes or no. Now, some people think, wow, a Dynasty Trust, that sounds really restrictive for my child. I want them to make their own decisions about the money. Well, this is really nice. Your child can act as trustee of his or her own Dynasty Trust. So the child can make their own decisions about management and everything. Now, if you decide, well, maybe my child's not up for that, or maybe they spend their money too extravagantly for what I like, then you can name a bank as a co-trustee or as sole trustee. Your child does not have to act as trustee, but whoever is trustee has full management power. In fact, if your child is trustee, they can blow the protections. They can withdraw everything and say, I don't like that trust anymore. So that's why it's important to explain to them the protections that they're getting so that they continue to manage the trust properly. So you might be thinking now, well, Ellen, this sounds so good. What are the drawbacks to a dynasty trust? Well, I think the main drawback, and it's really a small one, is that you have to upkeep the trust. And what I mean is you have to get a separate tax ID number for the trust and file separate fiduciary tax returns every year. This is what actually tells the IRS that it's not your money, that the money is actually owned by a trust. And so the IRS doesn't get to tax that money. But you can leave that up to your child to let them know these are the powerful protections. And if at some point they decide not to utilize it, then that's up to them as well. So you might be wondering, how long does a dynasty trust last? Well, let me tell you. In California, we follow the federal rules, which say that we don't want money stuck in a trust forever. It's a public policy reason. So we let it last from the birth of the youngest beneficiary of the trust, their lifetime, plus 21 years. We call this the rule against perpetuities. We don't want a trust to last forever. So that lifetime is usually, it's about 90 or 100 years total, okay? And so that means that really the trust can last for about 3 generations, and then it needs to distribute out. Now, you can set up dynasty trusts in other states like Nevada or Delaware or South Dakota, and they have longer perpetuities savings times. However, usually you need to set up the trust in that state with a trustee there, and so it's more restrictive for your child. They can't manage the trust all on their own, so usually my clients aren't as inclined towards that. And by the way, you do get the estate tax planning benefit that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. So that can be very helpful when the estate tax exemption drops down to just around $6 million per person in 2026. So it's something also to keep in mind. Dynasty trusts are also called many different things. They're called lifetime trusts. I actually like the term lifetime trust better because when I think of Dynasty Trust, I think of that show Dynasty from the 1980s and all this bling and fancy stuff. My clients usually aren't into all that fancy stuff. They're into protecting their kids. And so I think of a lifetime trust as protecting your child. Other people come up with other creative names for these trusts. That's up to them. But the important thing for you is to understand the concept and to see if this might be the right planning for your child. So now you know how to protect your child's inheritance. But you might have some basic estate planning questions in general. I have a full-length webinar where I go into the details of everything you need to know about estate planning. Click the link below to download now. Also, be sure to watch this video next called Estate Planning Terms. What does all of it mean? I translate into plain English what all the estate planning terms really do mean. So watch this video and I'll see you over there.